We're celebrating Miz Fest 2018 tonight, but has Mike turned into the ultimate dad with his new dad bod? Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, AfterBuzzers? It's Leslie Colon here. Anissa will not be able to join me tonight for the season finale, but she is out there watching Double or Nothing, which is a new wrestling show, so we wish her the best. And if you are a wrestling fan, make sure to tune in for that. So once again, I am going solo, and we are going to be breaking down the season finale, which is Miz Fest. So overall thoughts on this episode, I thought it was a great way to end the season. We have pretty much a huge celebration of Mike's 38th birthday, but first we're going to talk about how Mike made the top 3 dad bod. So in the beginning, Mike is really upset because he sees this post on Twitter where they're calling him out for having a dad bod. And as a wrestler, of course, you won't want to be called out on that. So he talks to Maryse, and he's really upset about it. And as he's eating his croissant, he's like, I don't want to eat it anymore. So he's very upset over this. And that's why for his birthday, he wants to do something low key and doesn't want to go out and party and drink because he's being referred to as having a dad bod now, which is not cool for him, which is interesting because as we've seen in another episode, like comparing him to Daniel Bryan from Total Divas, Daniel Bryan was all about the dad bod, but Mike is definitely not. So he's definitely taking this very personal, and for his birthday, he just wants to work out. And Maryse is definitely going along with this and is making fun of him because in this picture, we see him and Maryse as a hot dog right next to him because they're pretty much saying that he's eating a lot of food. So now he's very self-conscious about his body and he does not want to do anything for his birthday and just work out, which is pretty sad because as a wrestler, you know, the Miz is known for huge parties. So it's interesting to see how much it really affected him. At first, I thought about it. I'm like, I didn't know the media actually gets to these wrestlers like that, but it's cool to see the fact that, you know, this is a reality and he definitely wanted to make a change about it. But moving in to Miz Fest 2018. So once again, Maryse wanted to do something big for The Miz. Maryse is known for huge parties, both Maryse and The Miz. So she definitely wanted to lie to him and say, you know, they were just going to do something small. They were just going to have dinner at the house and she was going to cook all day, which we saw that she definitely did not cook. She just had food ordered and pretty much lied to him and said, oh yeah, I was cooking all day. So it was interesting to see the fact that The Miz actually fell for it, which is funny because he falls for all of Maryse's like pranks and jokes. So it's cool to see how Maryse can still get to him. So The Miz is ready to celebrate his birthday and they go to the store to look for a present. And he's looking for a poker table while Maryse wanted, I believe it was a hockey table. So they were having a competition like always, and of course, Maryse ends up winning. So she ends up getting her hockey table and he doesn't end up getting his poker table. So he gets super upset about this and he's like, it's my birthday. One, we're not having a big party. I'm being called out for having a dad bod and he's not getting his gifts. So he's pretty upset. He's pretty bummed out throughout this whole episode and is not having it for his big 38th birthday. But of course, Maryse always has something up her sleeve and throws Miz Fest 2018. And Miz Fest is something that happens in Cleveland for Miz's birthday where all his friends come out and celebrate with him, drink, party. So it's interesting to see the fact that, you know, he definitely got tricked into thinking that there's nothing that's going to happen. So let's break down this whole big celebration. So first, Maryse gives Mike a gift certificate to the gym so he can use that as a distraction while she pretty much plans his party. So Mike is out at the gym working out, and it was pretty interesting to see that fact that one of his workouts was pushing a truck. I definitely know I could have not done that, but it's cool to see how in reality, you know, these wrestlers are really strong. So it was pretty cool to see the fact that like now he's, you know, actually working out because he's super self-conscious about it, and he pretty much admitted the fact that he's been slacking on his workouts. and they called him out for using his daughter as an excuse. So to all you parents out there, is it true? Do you use your kids as an excuse because of not working out? I don't have any kids, but I know that I just use anything as an excuse to not to work out. But I'm sure that as a wrestler, you won't want to hear that. But anyways, so as Mike is working out, Maryse is at home planning his big party. So all of his friends come in from Cleveland, from Orlando. So it's cool to see a variety of people. We see some of his childhood friends, some wrestlers like Zack Ryder and his now fiance, Chelsea Green, who is an NXT superstar as well. So it's interesting to see how, Mike is really loved, and it's cool. And how so many people come out just for him. Because, again, this is not in his hometown. This is in Austin, Texas, where they currently live. So as Mike is working out, Maryse gets everyone together, and as Mike is approaching, she is telling everyone to hide. And, of course, George Mizanin is going to ruin the surprise, and he doesn't know where to go or what to do. So he just goes outside to hide. But, of course, that makes it one of the funniest moments because his dad is very, very funny. So for all of you in the chat, I see that you guys are in there. Let me know what you guys thought about George being part of this Miz Fest. Because personally, I don't know if I would want my dad to be part of my big celebration, especially if you're going to be on a party bus and drinking. But, again, the Mizanins are not ordinary people, and they love to have fun. So it was cool to see the fact that, George was in there, and he is a very interesting character. So as, they're getting ready to surprise Mike, the contractor comes in and everyone yells surprise, while little did they know Mike was already in the house. So the surprise definitely got ruined, and Maryse was like, okay, now what do we do? But another funny moment, Mike comes out in his underwear, and that's when everyone is like, okay, surprise, after kind of the surprise being ruined. But again, it was funny because The Miz always ends up embarrassing himself, yet he was super excited of the fact that Maryse went all out for his 38th birthday because that's what they're known for. So I'm sure if I was The Miz, I would be a little disappointed if my wife was not doing something for me on my 38th birthday when that's kind of a tradition for them. So they end up going out to the club. Maryse ends up surprising The Miz with a party bus, which was super cool. It had his face on it. Of course, they don't do anything ordinary, so they decorated it. They got him t-shirts that said dad bod, so he was still upset over that because even his friends were, making fun of him. So it was cool to see the fact that, they could still joke around and have a good time. So throughout this whole night, his dad offered to babysit Baby Monroe while they would go out, but they definitely did not trust him with Baby Monroe because he would ask questions like, does she use a night diaper or a day diaper? When diapers are just diapers. So there's really no difference in that. But I don't know if it was just as, a dad or him not having experience with babies. He just thought it was diapers change nowadays. But it was pretty interesting to see the fact that, his dad definitely did not know what to do with Baby Monroe. And it makes sense why Miz and Maryse did not trust George with Baby Monroe. But they were able to make it through the night until they saw George show up to the club, to the last bar. So then, of course, as parents, they freaked out and they were like, where is Baby Monroe? Who is she with? And he was like, oh, Marjo left and is taking care of her now. So Marjo did the French exit and did not tell anyone and pretty much went home and was taking care of Baby Monroe while George was able to party and now enjoy Miz Fest. So it was cool to see the fact that, the grandparents took turns to go out and have fun and enjoy this party because, once again, it's a whole celebration for the whole family. But it definitely, made Mike and Maryse upset. And he ended up hugging both Mike and Maryse, which they're not used to. So Mike was definitely, not having that. But I love the fact that, they involve their parents a lot in these episodes, and throughout the season, we see a lot of both Marjo and George. But for me, it was surprising to see the fact that Marjo didn't go all out and party with them. I thought she was going to be, on a stripper pole or something, because as we know, Marjo is super crazy. But in this episode, she was pretty calm. The only, funny moment was when she pretty much gave The Miz her picture of her in his gear. So, of course, I lived for that. But I definitely, in this episode, I wanted to see more of Marjo and see, some fun moments of her. So for those of you in the chat, definitely let me know what you thought of Marjo, being a little bit more quiet in this episode and, not really partying. Joseph Bosa says, it was nice to see the grandparents switching off so they could each take part in the party, although Maryse is worried when she has to leave Monroe at home. And I understand, as a mom, you definitely don't want to leave your baby. And the fact that she's still able to party and, worry about her daughter, it pretty much shows, her motherly instincts and how good of a mom she is. So, but again, I love the fact that, they do involve their parents in this and how their parents are very involved and are always there for both Maryse and the Miz. So pretty much as, the night goes on, they're having fun, they're going out, they're making fun of the Miz, and Miz is enjoying his 38th birthday, which is something that he was looking forward to, especially because they're used to going out and partying. So that's pretty much wraps up Miz Fest. It was, once again, a big party. Again, I was surprised to see the fact that there wasn't a lot of crazy moments. I expected more from Marjo or from Maryse or even the Miz. I felt like for this episode, we saw more of his drunk moments during the draft than during this episode. So I definitely wanted to see more of him being drunk and going out and ending up in the pool like how Dolph Ziggler did. But it was definitely more of a chill night. But it was cool to see, again, the fact that Maryse is always able to surprise Mike and isn't afraid of doing anything for her husband, because once again, as you can see, that's how much of a great couple they are. So again, Joseph Bosa said it was nice to see Marjo in the background. This episode was about Mike turning 38. And the fact that Maryse flew in his best friends, it was nice and funny a way to close out this quarter of the show, which I agree. It was definitely more of a low-key season finale. But again, it was a big celebration, and we're not only celebrating Mike's 38th birthday, but we are celebrating, the end of this season for now. So for the awesome moment, which is our special segment, I personally thought there was a lot of awesome moments in this episode, but for me, it was when Maryse gives Mike the picture that they used on the Twitter post for his dad bod nomination. So it was cool to see the fact that, she was able to make a joke out of it, and we saw that a lot throughout this episode, the fact that they kept referring to this because it got to Mike. But I could tell that after the episode, was closing out, he kind of got over it and was just like, okay, I'm just going to embrace it and let it be. Personally, I don't think, you should be ashamed of a dad bod. If you're a wrestler and he works out and he has a great body. I know someone in the chat said Lawrence was like, Mike doesn't have a dad bod. His body is awesome. And that his body is way better than Daniel Bryan, which I completely agree. Mike does take care of himself. So it was really cool to see the fact that, we can compare these two wrestlers. And for those of you who are asking, what do you think of Miz Fest? Juliana in the chat was like, Miz Fest was great. I completely agree. We love to see, both Maryse and the Miz having fun. And I love the fact that, we got to see, it was more chill. It wasn't that funny. I personally didn't think it was as funny as, the previous episodes. But for those of you in the chat, again, let us know what you thought about this episode. If you thought it was more of a calm episode or it was pretty crazy. But personally, I definitely thought that it was a little bit more on the calm side, and we've seen more crazy moments throughout the season than on this night. But moving on to our predictions for the next season, I am pretty sad the fact that the season is ending on a quarterly basis. But for those of you who don't know, Miz and Mrs. is returning this summer. So make sure that you tune in for this summer when we come back to do more Miz and Mrs. episodes. But now let's do some announcements and some special news.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So for news this week, I wanted to highlight some of the pictures that both Maryse and Miz used for Miz Fest. So we're going to see, Maryse posing with her best friend. We saw her throughout this season and how she is a big part of their life. But also we see, a family picture of everyone who was involved. And once again, it's cool to see the fact that all these people come out and do these type of things for both Miz and Maryse, because they are very cool people, and genuinely, you know, they have a lot of friends. So I love the fact that, you know, people fly in from Cleveland, from Florida. So let me know who you like to see in this episode, and who was your favorite to see celebrate Miz Fest with. Personally, I like the fact that we saw Zack Ryder and his fiance, because he is a wrestler. But again, I was surprised that Dolph Ziggler was not part of this episode, because I know they're very, very close since they both grew up in Cleveland. But for the next set of news, we did receive some sad news this past Thursday that WWE Superstar Ashley Massaro died after committing suicide. So I know Maryse was very, very close with her, and she definitely felt this one. And a lot of divas felt it during this era because, you know, they worked together, and she was part of the Diva Surge, which Maryse was part of as well. So it's sad to see, you know, that the fact that this wrestler who was only 39 died of committing suicide. So for those of you, you know, make sure if you are feeling sad or anything's going on to always reach out for help, because we definitely don't want to see these things happen. And last but not least, I wanted to give you guys a current update on what Miz and Maryse are doing. Maryse, of course, is currently pregnant, but Mike is out having some fun, and we see him golfing over here. So it's interesting to see the fact that he put his golf machine away and is now actually pursuing it in the real world. It's cool to see the fact that, you know, they're still able to go out. But of course, Maryse is cooking up their baby number 2. So pretty much, I am excited to see this new season of Miz and Mrs. I do believe, you know, they are going to announce the fact that they are having a second baby. And for those of you who we don't know the gender yet, so let me know what you think it's going to be. I want a boy, so they can have both a boy and a girl. But definitely let me know what you think. And Joseph Bosa said the reason why this show isn't a quarter is that their mainstay show, Chrisley Knows Best, is back with new episodes. And also that Ashley's sister and colleagues have formed the Square Circles, and they have started a GoFundMe page with the hopes of raising $10,000 to make sure that her daughter Alexa can go to college. So it's definitely nice to see, you know, WWE is very involved in these moments, and the fact that, you know, they are doing something good for her daughter, because it's sad, you know, her daughter was really young. But that is it for this season of Miz and Mrs. Again, this season was very, very short, so stay tuned for the next set of episodes, because remember, we are still on season 1. So keep leaving some comments, definitely subscribe, and give us 5 stars on iTunes, and let us know what you thought of this overall season. But we will be back in the summer. Again, I am your host, Leslie Colon, and you can find me at _Leslie Colon. Thanks again, guys. It was a great season. Anissa and I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will see you in the summer.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.